Roar. Welcome, everybody, to a Spork of Ice and Fire. I am Scott. We are going to be talking about a couple prophecies tonight. So, the prince that was promised, a prophecy that echoes across Essos and Westeros, from shadow binders and Ashai. I really already screwed this up to red priests in Volantis. It's often conflated with another legendary figure, Azor Ahai Reborn. Whether these are one and the same or competing mythologies tangled together remains uncertain, but the text gives us fragments. Let's look at some actual quotes. And before we do that, let me bring on my guests and panelists and co-hosts for the evening. First up, he's been here since the beginning, Mr. Grant Gregory. How are you, sir?
Hello. Your audio's coming through a bit weird and crackly too, just to let you know.
It's probably going through the wrong. Yes, it is. Thank you. Nope. I will have to find out what's going on. Thank you, buddy. All right. So next up, we have Mad Cheesemo. How are you, sir?
One, insulted that I wasn't brought on first, and also I've been here since the beginning, I think. And two, your audio is actually worse now than it was when Grant said something about it.
Okay, that's great. Well, there's my life and Shadow of the Hawk 55, who talks about everything. I forgot what you were talking about before. Oh yeah, we'll leave that.
He doesn't know black superheroes.
He does,
right? He thinks all of them have black in their name or they have lightning powers.
Yeah.
No, it was a video that I saw come up where it was 5 dudes who couldn't name a single one.
Well, that's sad. Is that better?
No. Can you go back to what it was before Grant tricked you into fucking it up?
He did. Hello?
I haven't noticed any changes at all in your verbal, so I think they're both just fucking with you.
I am not.
No, I don't mess around with audio.
Never with audio. All right, well, I'll work on that as we go. But until then, let's say hi to the chat real quick. It's Courtney, Fellowship of Oddballs. Hi,
hey, Courtney.
April May in the house. Had some great stuff last week. Thank you for being here. Sonny Frank, old school from the beginning of the channel. Thank you for being here. Listless Receptionist, another long time chat member. Thank you for being here. And other people will be rolling on in. But what we are going to be doing tonight is we're going to be talking about 3 prophecies. I thought for a while maybe I would just bring up the 2, but I think 3 prophecies that kind of intertwine. So you have the prophecy of the last hero, the prophecy of the prince that was promised, and definitely with that one, Azor Ahai. And is prophecy something that causes, like Rhaegar, he believed in a prophecy and the realm burned for it. Is it something that you look back upon and yes, it came true, but it definitely did not come true in the way you wanted it to? What do you guys think on that? I sound awesome.
I think anyone will use any excuse to go to war.
Mm-hmm.
So, but prophecy gives you that, it's almost like the protective blanket. I've got the divine right to do it because the prophecy says it was going to happen. So therefore, it's already happened. I'm just filling out the actions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't think Rhaegar's actions caused everything to burn. I think it was his father.
Well, his father had a lot to do with it, but he gave him the excuse to call. Brandon Stark went down to King's Landing because Rhaegar and Lyanna decided to run away.
Allegedly,
yeah.
Rhaegar set certain things in motion that led to the Mad King doing what he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like it's like leaving a gun on the table and then a kid comes up. Like the kid chose to pick up the gun, but you're the one who left it there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Still, yeah,
I only showed him to load bullets. Yeah.
So we see with Rhaegar, when he was younger, he was very bookish, didn't have friends, never was doing, sword practice in the yard with the other kids. So we see that, and I forget what night it is, but he comes out one afternoon, somewhere around the age of 6 to 8, and he says, "It seems that I must be a warrior also." and from there on, he is training day and night, becoming a warrior, speaking with his, his uncle up in the north at the wall, Maester Aemon, his great uncle, all to bring this prophecy to fruition. And you can't really blame Rhaegar. I mean, there was a lot of things that lined
I
up.
mean, he's 8.
Hmm?
When he was 8 when he made the decision. So
Yeah. And you can't blame him for, I mean, a woods witch told them that, and I'll have some of these quotes later, but the woods witch, pretty much telling him from the line of Ares and Rhaella, the prince that was promised will come. So first off, he thinks it's him. And then when his son is conceived most likely on the night a red comet came by, he believes it's his child, and the child should have, the dragon should have 3 heads. There's a lot of different things that are going into this. We also see that Maester Aemon and Melisandre, mostly Maester Aemon and other Targaryens, they'll use Azor Ahai and the princess as promised, almost as they are the same prophecy. I don't know if I completely agree with that yet, but it's easy to understand why they would see it that way. But some others want to lump the last hero into that too, which, I mean, the other 2 are from Essos. The last hero is a Westerosi, prophecy, or really legend. But
it's because it's not exactly a prophecy. He existed. Yeah.
But see, people think, and when it comes to George R.R. Martin, he likes history repeating itself. So, you got Jon Snow with a direwolf, the last hero had a dog and 12 companions. Jon makes at least 12 buddies up at the wall. They try to force it into Jon's every single one of them. But, Sir Pounce the Cat could be Azor Ahai. Hop Pie, I believe, can be Azor Ahai. I mean, it fits. And I think it was Listless that said it, because you could slot so many people into it. And I'll have a list, I believe, later. April May says Azor Ahai is Ned killing Lady with oh, I know, you were telling us that before. Or Jon killing Ygritte with Satan's arrow. Satan's arrow? Satan's arrow?
Satin.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the name of one of his buddies? Like they called him Satin because he was ladylike or something.
It could have been.
Also, if
he
you
was
change
from
the
the
letters
pillow.
around, it also says the word Stannis.
Whoa. Yeah, no, Satin, I believe, was from the Hua houses. He was like a male prostitute. Yeah, maybe I might be getting that mixed up.
With a name like Satin being a hooker? No.
Yeah.
It's been years since I've picked up that book, so I could not tell you. I do would like to point out how even fictitious prophecies, or not even fictitious prophecies, but real prophecies can be misrepresented and misseen, and assumed to herald things. Like the number of times that people thought Revelations was happening in the medieval era was wild. Like for instance, or the belief of certain legends about I believe it was the Prester King, which was attributed to Ethiopia and Mongolia at different times, where hey, this is a sign of Christian dominance of the world, and then you find out, no, it's actually a bunch of screaming madmen coming out of the plains, coming to kill you with guns.
Right,
so,
right.
Well, yeah, you have the 7-day evangelist or whatever, that the dude that had new math, that he was like, okay, the Lord is coming back in 6 months, and then it came and like, okay, I didn't carry the 1, so he's going to be coming back in 2 years.
Yep,
that's a real thing that happened.
Yeah, no,
I
learned
2
on
years worth
Matapap.
of leap years, so it'll be 42 years roughly.
42 years. I think your volume's a little high. You mind if I turn it down a little bit? I can do it.
Go for it.
Yeah. All right. So another thing, I can't do it. I suck. All right. Oh no, I can. We're going to go over a couple things. You can take it over, you jerk. Okay. What the prophecy says. All right. The prince that was promised, a prophecy that echoes across Essos and Westeros from Shadow. I did that part already. Shit. Okay. Let's take a look at them. When the red star bleeds and the darkness gathers, Azor Ahai shall be born again, amidst smoke and salt to wake dragons out of stone. A Clash of Kings, Davos won. There will come a day after a long summer when the stars bleed, and the cold breath of darkness falls heavy on the world. In this dread hour, a warrior shall draw from the fire a burning sword, and that sword shall be Lightbringer. A Dance with Dragons, Melisandre won. There must be one, the prince who was promised. That's a Feast for Crows. That's Maester Aemon in Samwell 4. He has a song, and his song is the Song of Ice and Fire. And that's Dany's vision in the House of the Undying, where we have Rhaegar talking about his children. So Rhaegar Targaryen, the Silver Prince himself, once believed he was the promised. He was born in the tragedy of Summerhall, and he read a prophecy in the scroll. From that day, he believed he must be a warrior. That's the World of Ice and Fire that says the story of the fall of the dragons. Rhaegar eventually decided the prophecy referred not to him, but his son. The dragon has 3 heads. That's Storm Swords, Dany, another vision. He is the prince that was promised, and his is the Song of Ice and Fire. That's why a lot of people believe it is Jon Snow. So what is the prophecy really about? Is it even real, or have these characters built their destinies on a badly translated scroll? So we're going first with the idea that, okay, in the Targaryen lineage, even with Melisandre, Azor Ahai and the prince that were promised are the same person. Let's just start there. We have many different prophecies from Essos that talk of a figure like Azor Ahai. We have other names for him too. Why do you think people put so much into prophecy? And mostly the Targaryens. You have, dreamers. I think Ares the First also found a prophecy about, Ares the First found the original prophecy, I believe, about the prince that was promised. All these things that they do to try to bring it to fruition actually seems to almost destroy their family, in the show, because we know now that the show, House of the Dragon, is canon, right? Because they told us it was. They tell us that the prince that was promised was part of, the knife. So, and that the dance just almost destroyed the family. Oh.
Well, the Targaryens, they loved their prophecy because that's what saved them.
Mm-hmm.
It's what allowed them to come into power.
Right.
If it wasn't for the prophecies, then Aegon wouldn't have come over, and became Aegon, the amalgamator.
Yeah.
Well,
and really quick, let's talk about that. You're referring to Dany the Dreamer. So this was the first one of the first Daenerys that we know of the Targaryens. She had a vision of pretty much the doom of Valyria, and her father, and I believe it took almost 10 years for them to move everything over, and all the other Valyrians were ripping on them except for the ones that went with them, which are the Valerians and the ones from Krakow Point.
So they didn't go with them. They were just away at the time.
Oh, I thought. Well, didn't the ones from Krakow go with them? Krakow.
No.
Okay. All right. I must be misremembering that, but I do know that they were being laughed at, and 10 years after her vision, the doom occurs. Coincidence? I think not.
Probably not. I mean, or how much of it was, hey, I saw a vision, and how much of it was, I was given a heads up that the towers were, the volcano was going to go. We need to make plans to account for what was going to happen.
Right.
Both towers. Both volcanoes.
Yeah, there were 3. And specifically, not just the Targaryens, but why do people put so much stock into prophecy? Same reason why we trust the weathermen, even though they're fucking dirty liars who make my life horribly inconvenient when they fucking lie.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it gives us a level of control over the uncontrollable. If we see a prophecy that says, hey, X, Y, and Z will happen, we take stock in it because, well, we know X, Y, and Z will happen. That lets us take control of our life.
And we see it in major religions. I mean, we have revelations, we have things like that. That is pretty much a prophecy.
Exactly. It helps lay out a guideline of what's going to happen, what will happen, what needs to happen. And many people just kind of jump assuming that they have the full picture based off things that have been telephoned and mistranslated so many times. By the way, I'm not insulting religion, just want to clarify I'm insulting
No.
people who are idiots. Just
Yeah.
making sure that's clear. Don't want to
That
get clipped out of
believe.
context.
Yeah. So what he's saying is he's not making fun of a religion, just everybody who's in religion because they believe in it. Okay, thank you.
I am a devout Christian, sir. I believe in a four-state solution. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. I like what Sonny Frank says here. I think that
I
George
believe
writes
in the right
these.
religion.
Well, I can't hear what you're saying. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm going to try to work
You
on
can't
that.
hear me?
Oh, no, I could hear you. It's just for me, it's for some reason you're not coming in clear, but I know Shadow can hear you clearly. I'm old. My hearing sucks. I think that George writes these prophecies vague so he can change his mind in later books. But that's only if you think there will be another book. I know we're getting one more. Yeah, April.
Three
I would
more,
like.
probably.
April says, "What if I told you Rhaegar and Lyanna both were kidnapped by Dorne and the Dornish Kingsguard? Give me more, son." Or the story is one story playing out over and over and over again. Yeah, give me more about that in like one full thing because I haven't heard that one. Did he use Satin's arrow? Satin was the man of the Night's Watch from Old Town. He wasn't a whore. I thought he was a whore.
Did he have a red dress?
Did he look lovely tonight?
What was his name?
Satin.
Satin.
No,
You don't have to put on the red dress. Anyway,
that's not
That's
what
a-
he says.
that's an old
Yeah, that's how the
reference.
song goes. Pretty
It's,
sure.
I'm pretty sure it's Sporking. I hung out with Sting for a while, and
You don't have to put on that red light?
yeah, he got me off
tonight?
the road. He got me off the streets.
Yeah.
I had to pay for it. That tantric son of a bitch. Yeah. Anyways,
Oh,
He's good friends with Diddy.
oh god.
I'm trying.
And if you
think
want to know more about Diddy, check out Culture Casino.
No.
He's doing a lot of Diddy stuff.
Not his new channel. I will not support his 5th channel to fucking out.
I am his
outgame me.
56th sub to his 5th channel.
You saw what I
I-
said, right?
No,
Calling for
I-
equity. I want my box so I can see the game for free.
well, I'm
I'll
gonna let
just
you
knock the
guys.
fence down.
I'm gonna let you guys know I am starting a new podcast on iTunes and Spotify. So keep a lookout in the community.
you really?
section. Yeah, I'm
Don't
doing
worry, we're not
episodic.
invited to it. It's just
Did
him
we-
by
No,
himself.
it's just me. It's just me.
We just had a whole conversation about, man.
No, but me. No,
And
dude, this is
then the
different.
OC
We'll get-
bros.
Yeah, OC bros. We'll get together. I swear.
When are your
So-
kids getting out of your house? No more kids.
So long. I chopped. I
He
snipped.
chopped his balls off, remember? He can't
Just
have
so I
any
can
more.
hang out with you guys. Salt and smoke naturally
Whose balls
comes
got
together.
cut off?
Which one do you like the least?
Mm, I'll let you be the
Hey.
judge of that.
Are you talking about the kids or the testicles? Because I want to know the answer to both.
I love Lefty. Naturally comes together in environments affected by volcanic activity or forest fires where salt deposits are present near smoke sources. The shit you guys, April and you come up with is awesome. So I'm going to move on a little bit with more references to Azor Ahai and the Prince That Was Promised. We're going deeper, guys. All right. So from Melisandre, I pray for a glimpse of Azor Ahai, and R'hllor shows me only capital S snow. That was in A Dance with Dragon, Melisandre 1. The Lord of Light has shown me the power of King's blood. R'hllor has woken dragons from stone. A Storm of Swords, Davos 1. Maester Aemon, reflecting on the gendered translation of the prophecy. The dragon must have 3 heads, but I was wrong. Daenerys is our hope. No one ever looked for a girl. It was a prince that was promised, not a princess. Rhaegar, he thought it was his son. His grief was good for the realm, but prophecy will bite your prick off every time. So that was Samwell. 4, A Feast for Crows.
The prophecies like Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah, definitely. And then you even got more Mokaro talking on it. and A Dance of Dragons, Tyrion 8. He shall wield a sword of fire. He shall be born again amidst smoke and salt. So we keep getting the smoke and salt reference. These quotes show how fragmented and layered the prophecy can be, from multiple cultures, languages, and visions, twisted through belief and desperation. Like Maester Aemon, desperate to see this prophecy that he's been working on for so long, and thought it would be Rhaegar, then thought it would be Rhaegar's son. Now he thinks it's Dany, and he's frail and his body's giving out on him. But he's willing to believe that, because in the Valyrian tongue, the word for prince, the word actually, what is it again? It's not Azor Ahai, but it's the term for the prince that was promised in Valyrian. There's no gender. Yeah, it's gender neutral. It would really
it
like
just
our
means the next
times.
in line. It's the next in line for a king. But I just find it weird that like everyone's searching for this prophecy where there's literally a guy that comes back to life that holds a burning sword that exists already.
Wait a minute, say that again.
Well, we got Beric.
Yeah, Beric has one of the better,
I mean,
better.
he literally comes back to life and he has a flaming sword. What more do you want?
Right.
Well, most people don't know about Beric's existence. To them, he's just a crazy dude in the middle of the woods who's got a very good knack for not dying, a Jan Ziska level knack for not dying.
Yeah.
So he could be the prince that was promised, but the average like Melisandre is like, yes, it's Stannis because Stannis is a king, and Aemon's like, it's Daenerys because she's the last Targaryen, and the fans are like, it's Jon because Kit Harington is attractive or something, and then it's just Beric.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and you think about Beric, okay, the first time he does get killed by the mountain, his friend Thoros is crying and praying words he's never even thought of before, praying old prayers he thought he forgotten, and he brings his friend back to life where, the blood must have been smoking. There is blood. Is there the bleeding star at that moment? I believe so. We find out later that this happened during that time, I believe. But, Dany seems to be the one that truly fits it probably best in the main story. And I think George
But is that something that George is going to do? George is the guy that's known to show you in one direction and then essentially over here the entire time. Right. So I think the fact that it's so obvious that it's supposed to be Dany or Jon or anything, that it's not.
Well, and with him, he usually gives us the answer before he even puts up the question.
Or he alludes to it very, very well, where you have to go, fucking duh. Like the Red Wedding, where you're like, Rob's the hero. Rob, he's going to win because he's the hero. Ignore all the mistakes he's making. He's going to find a way. It's just building tension, and then
we see
the Red Wedding happens.
We see that he is a winner in the art of war, but when it comes to politics in the Game of Thrones, he's a loser.
Exactly. Where in another fantasy series, he would have found a way to. He would not have died at the Red Wedding. He would have fought a way out. He would have come back stronger later on. Whereas in this, it was he made all of the bad play. He made a ton of bad plays in a game that was rigged from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Because George gives the Lannisters way too much plot armor. I mean, because it was just not feasible for his rebellion to work, and that ultimately bites him in the ass. So George loves to set up the general fantasy tropes, and then
I mean, Tywin knew that all he needed him to do is make one mistake, and he also says, Tywin, I believe, refers to not, battles aren't always won on the field. They're one, passing ravens or something.
And also, we got to take into account that he's still just a kid as well. Of course, he's going to make a mistake.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
Well, and his dad you think about it, his dad just died, Grant, and he wants to embody what his father was, honorable Ned Stark's son. So what do? You knock up a girl and you marry her, knowing you're breaking a promise that what a terrible deal his mom made to just cross the twins. But,
and and then
It's really
and
all
then
Cat's fault.
and then standing by his morals when it comes to killing the Karstarks for killing those boys, which he had to enact a crime because they did that without, but he didn't have to do murder. There were other options available to him that were more diplomatic than killing Lord Karstark, which lost him half his army.
Right. But
but,
again, he followed his father's what he thought his father would do. He's playing at being his dad. He's 15 years old, and they made him king of the North.
And
It's
he
a
had
little
to deal
rough.
with and he had to deal with Balon choosing to go after the rocky coasts with potatoes and half a cat to loot rather than Lannisport with all the gold.
Right. Right. Wasn't the
Again,
flaming
Yep. Sorry, go.
No, go ahead, buddy.
Getting off topic. I was gonna make a
Okay.
joke, but I'm getting off topic.
All right, yeah, I killed it. I'm sorry. Listless Receptionist says, wasn't the flaming sword thing more Thoros of Myr doing stuff? Well, Thoros of Myr would put wildfire on his sword, light it, and run into battle that way to scare his enemies. But bringing that up, like, how does one sword that's made that's on fire when you against the long night? It won't. I mean, it is more likely, and he wants us to think this, that Lightbringer is a dragon, or Dany has 3 of these things. The bleeding star was overhead when she walked into that funeral pyre, and she brought forth 3 dragons from stone eggs. I mean, she literally fits everything. She was born during one of the worst storms ever, at Storm's End. Like, everything about her story fits. But then you have Jon. Jon gets stabbed. Spoiler for anybody who hasn't read a book that came out 15 years ago. Jon gets stabbed, and as he's bleeding out, one of his compatriots is crying. And I think I actually wrote this down because it's important to know who fits the toll or fits it well. And that would be, so Jon, when he is dying, I don't know what I did with it. Sorry, guys. I know one of the guys that's with him, his doublet, his sigil is a star of like flaming flying star. It has blood on it. People are crying, smoke coming from his wound. Does he come back? I mean, if George is still the George R.R. Martin of Game of Thrones, I want to flip a coin, but I have a feeling he'll be back, but he might be more wolf-like or not himself at all.
Also, along that line, there's sorry to cut off. I just thought of something. Read the bit about the prophecy involving the sword, the flaming sword drawn from the fire.
1 second. Give me a second. I'll reread that for you.
He could come back as a merman, like
possibly.
He could. He definitely could. Let's see. Where is she? When there will come a long summer, his dreaded warriors. When the red star bleeds and darkness gathers, Azor Ahai shall be born again amidst smoke and salt to wake dragons out of stone. No, that's not it.
I mean, it wasn't exactly a red star. It was a comet. Comets aren't stars.
Yeah, but back then, they, we're talking kind of a medieval time. They believe that the comet is a star.
I mean, that prophecy would have probably been written even earlier, more antiquity or Bronze Age, or even before that equivalent of development.
Yeah, that's very true. Westeros, yeah.
Westeros has right, but they have a history of about 8,000 years up until the founding of Valyria, and there was a period before that where there could have been the prophecy written then.
True.
But yeah, just to save time on the point, so the point about pulling a flaming sword from the fire, night gathers and now my watch begins, yada yada yada. I shall live and die at my post. I am the sword in the darkness. I am the watcher on the walls. I am the shield of the realms of men. That is not just the individual watchman, but that is the watch as a whole. What if the flaming sword is less of an actual physical weapon or a ordnance carrying package like a dragon, but more metaphorical, a tool to be wielded by a general, an army in the dark, possibly. And fire could be in ruin. So you're
Mhm.
taking the sword out of the ruin and then wielding that against the darkness.
Right.
Mhm.
And I also want to bring up this one, and I'll find it real quick, because we get an older version of the Night's Watch oath when Sam passes through the black door underneath the wall. And if it actually comes up, here we go. Where is it? Sorry, guys. Here we go. When you enter the grove, they're watching us, the old gods. Oh no, that's not the right part. Shit. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna find this one.
Okay, so I was gonna talk about mermans and how I rewatched Game of Thrones. Well, the Varys scenes, and 100%, I thought I saw gills.
Mm.
Were they behind the ears, like Kevin Costner style?
Fuck yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
dude,
that's
that's
why
a
he
great
talks
movie.
weird.
It's a great movie. Everyone.
I like the
it's-
Postman more,
Oh, the
actually.
Postman's way better.
Oh,
but-
bro, you know
way
what dude? You know what we watched last night? We watched The Working Man. I am shocked at how bad it is. I'm a
Wait a minute,
huge
which one?
The Working Man. It's the David Ayer movie with
Oh, okay.
Jason Statham.
Statham?
Okay.
It was so bad. We had to watch a different David Ayer movie just to remind us that no, he's good. He's good. Don't let this be what you remember him for. Ah.
Oh, so
Why?
you watched the Suicide Squad, did you?
No,
Isn't-
we watched Street Kings. Has
Isn't
my favorite line in it. They're like, what they call you? They call me Quicks, man. Huh, not quick enough.
Street Kings?
Yeah, with Keanu Reeves and Captain America
I don't know. If I
and
saw-
Forrest Whitaker. Oh, it's a good one.
Is that-
It's an early
Is
David
that the one
Ayer.
where? Is that the one where he has a go at the Japanese people or the Koreans?
Yes, the Koreans. Yes.
Yeah. He's like,
You-
how am I supposed to know what you look like? You drive Drew, you dress
No,
white,
no,
you
no.
talk
You
black.
dress white, you talk black, and you drive Jew.
Who says
Yeah.
that?
Keanu
So
Reeves
how am
to
I
some
supposed to know which one?
Koreans.
What?
Oh shit.
Yeah. How am I supposed to know what you zipperheads are if you don't?
It's such a good movie. But yeah, man, The Working Man was so bad. And you know what? I think it was Sylvester Stallone who co-wrote the movie. I'm like, because man, if you saw the last Rambo movie or whatever,
Mhm.
a lot of those themes bleed over into this.
What movie am I thinking of? Kings of New York, maybe? With
Gangs of New York with Leonardo DiCaprio.
no. It's with Christopher Walken's.
Oh, you're thinking of I know what you're thinking of. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I can't.
Man,
either.
he scarred my childhood with Prophecy. His
Yeah.
Gabriel is so when he does the whole, you
terrifying.
know, where you get that indentation on your lip. It's because I told you a secret
Yep.
before you were born. Because oh
You know, it's
Dude,
a good movie.
even
Oh.
Viggo Mortensen in that was fucking terrifying.
yeah, oh yeah,
Dude, I haven't seen that in so long. I'm gonna have to watch
so
that again.
good.
I
Holds
I
up.
He would make a
what
really good librarian.
Legion.
Oh, I
Legion.
love Legion.
I do too.
Legion's
And it gets
great
a bad
too.
rap, dude.
Yeah, with Vision.
Yeah, with Vision. Yeah.
Yeah, I love when he comes down. This is not possible. And he's like, you gave him what he needed. I gave him what you gave him what he asked. I gave him what he needed. I'm like,
Yep.
fuck, that's a good line.
It's such a good line.
King of New York. 11 Alpha got it.
There you go. Thank you, 11 Alpha. So where was I? Let's see. So did I bring up the references to Azor Ahai? I believe so. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of prophecies maybe being misread. A recurring theme in A Song of Ice and Fire is the danger of certainty, especially when it's rooted in dreams, signs, and ancient prophecies. George R.R. Martin doesn't treat prophecies like gospel, he treats it like poison. Prophecy is like a half-trained mule. It looks as though it might be useful, but the moment you trust it, it kicks you in the head. And that's Marwyn the Mage in Samuel 5. Feast for Crows. And then you look at Melisandre. She believes in Stannis. He's Azor Ahai and helped burn people alive in that belief. The Lord of Light requires his enemies burnt, the flames purify. And I believe that was when they were up at the wall. And even she admits, though, that her visions aren't always read correctly. In Melisandre 1, the only POV we get from her is in A Dance of Dragons. The visions are never clear. I see shadows dancing, gray shapes in the midst of the flames, and cannot tell you what they mean. But then, this is someone who devoted her whole life to Stannis, and Stannis in the book is still alive, but she shifts her beliefs. She starts to move to Jon Snow. But she still sees only what she wants. And Maester Aemon, wise and learned, dies doubting the entire thing. So he says, no one ever looked for a girl. I told this part. It was the prince that was promised, not princess. Prophecy will bite your prick off every time. And then you have someone like Rhaegar. It is Rhaegar's fault that Westeros burned. He's the best example of prophecy destroying things. He went from melancholy bard to driven prince because of what he read in an ancient scroll. And this is from a world of ice.
So basically, it's the person who wrote the scroll's fault then.
Yeah.
They indoctrinated the poor kid.
Yeah. I mean,
or maybe it was whoever taught him how to read. Maybe it was their fault.
It could be. He just might have misread
fucking
something.
reading rainbow bullshit.
If he was born a Baratheon, he never would have learned to read.
True. Many lords don't know how to read. That's why the maesters are committing all these atrocities. That we could talk about that another time. But you look at through time, like what the Targaryens believe. You had you see it in one of the Duncan eggs where a Targaryen is trying Blackfire, which is a Targaryen, had a vision of a dragon being born. So he believed he was going to bring forth a dragon into the world. And really all he did was he brought forth egg, believing more in being a Targaryen. So really the egg cracking open and a dragon coming forth was really Aegon Targaryen. Aegon believed he could bring the dragons back, and you get the tragedy of Summerhall, where a lot of the Targaryen family died in a terrible fire, and Rhaegar was born there. That's why a lot of people then pushed that onto Rhaegar.
Was it prophecy that made what's his name drink the wildfire?
He believed that it would turn him into a dragon. It was his dreams. So in a way, yes, prophecy. A Targaryen dreamer. No one more powerful than what's her name from House of the Dragon. She goes from autistic child to massive, powerful dreamer.
Oh yeah,
She always was.
She always was. So Rhaegar, he was born in the tragedy of Summerhall, and he read a prophecy in this scroll. From that day, he believed he must be a warrior. Convinced the prophecy required 3 heads of the dragon, he had children with Elia Martell. She was frail, almost died giving birth to Aegon, their second child. So then if we believe they got together, and Lyanna knew everything, he took Lyanna, believing that their union would fulfill destiny, the Song of Ice and Fire. This single act tore Westeros apart. Prophecy, not ambition, sparked Robert's rebellion. The dragon has 3 heads. The seed is strong. Edark's strong. I don't know why.
I mean, she gets to take some of the blame too. This is very much like a Helen of Troy scenario.
Yes, but she was how old? I don't even know if she was 16 yet, and he was like 20 something. So this handsome prince who's a warrior and plays the harp. I mean, any girl will just buy into that. And his wife is part of it. Yeah, she totally just slid off the seat. What?
Well, it shows how good he is at fingering.
So you can also throw in the last hero into the mix with this. Now, the last hero is a Westerosi prophecy or legend that people do believe will come back. There are people that believe that he will return. So old Nan tells us in a Game of Thrones prologue, it's not in the prologue, but it's an old Nan's tale. So as cold and death filled the earth, the last hero determined to seek out the children in the hopes that their ancient magic could win back what their armies of men had lost. The last hero's journey through darkness with a sword, a dog, 12 companions, all of whom, including the dog, die. This person that I was reading said he ultimately finds the children. I don't remember him actually ever. We believe he's about to find the children.
I don't think he found the children.
Yeah, me either. But it's assumed that he did because he ended the long night, they believe. So now we have three messianic figures. We have Azor Ahai, which is an Essos tradition. We have the prince that was promised, Valerian prophecy with Targaryens fixated on it. And the last hero, the old Westerosi legend. Can they be the same person?
Maybe each of them is one of the heads of the dragon.
Some people do believe that. Some people believe they're the same person. Some people believe it's a composite of different legends together that got mixed up. Because you do have other figures, and I don't know if I wrote them down, in Essos during the long night. And I can get a list of those heroes. I know I have it here. Heroes. And if someone keep eye on the chat, let me know if I'm missing anything.
April has a good little theory there about the dragon has three heads, being the sides of the story: your side, my side, and the truth. That's what the three dragons represent.
Okay, where does that start? Can you give me a time? Oh, your timestamp. Well, yeah, give me a timestamp if you have it.
No, I don't. I'm on the tablet.
Oh, that's right.
I can see the chat down the side. That's all.
Let's see. Let's see here. Which one?
Oh, here we go.
Aemon and his maester.
This one. The dragon has three heads. Yeah. There are two sides to every story. Then there's 744. Okay, thank you, buddy. You did great.
So I'm here.
You are here for that. So who fits these different archetypes if we were going to take them one by one? You would think Jon Snow embodies the last hero more than the prince that was promised. A Stark raised that winter at the wall, leading the charge against the others. He has his direwolf. He has his companions. He has the sword. Dany could be Azor Ahai reborn, born amidst salt and smoke, waking dragons from stone. The prince that was promised might be either or neither. It may never have existed, or it may still refer to a child of their union, as Rhaegar believed. It could have been the child of Dany and Khal Drogo, who never got a chance. Tyrion could, his mom died. There was tears. Someone was probably smoking something.
I don't know. His mom was smoking hot.
Yeah, she was. Cousins always are.
I'm
Martin, sorry? Tyrion, Tywin and his wife were cousins.
No. You said cousins always are. They're always smoking?
Yeah.
Yeah, like cigarettes. Oh, hot. No, that's all. I didn't say that out loud, I thought. Allegedly. Thank you, sir.
I do want to say, given Martin's proclivity to subvert expectations, whenever we come up with the most obvious solution, remove them and then go for the second most obvious. So John's the most obvious. So who else has a connection with a dog of some kind? Could also be a figurative dog. Looks at the Hound.
Yeah, like the Hound. Yeah. I don't think it'll be the Hound.
So you're saying it's Arya?
Well, no. But who's got a connection with the Hound? Could possibly
Sansa,
could have been
Arya.
Brienne, Pod.
Yeah, there's a lot of
the
people.
Mountain. He has a connection with the Hound.
He does.
Yeah,
the Mountain is one of the fucking heroes. That would be such a good plot twist.
He dies.
He died. He came back
as Strong. Whatever his first name, Strong.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. He may have the head of Rob Stark on him. So he's part, he's part freaking Stark.
Wait, I'm sorry. If you're carrying the head of somebody, that makes you part of their family?
No, like
No.
it's sewed on
No,
him.
he means physically
Frankenstein's
because he's
monster.
a
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay with me on this. It seems like Martin's playing a shell game with us, inviting readers to connect dots that lead to a single answer because in the world there may
What
not be
happens when you
one.
don't release a book in 16 years?
Yeah.
I feel
Go
like
ahead.
he's just waiting. He's reading Reddit and trying to find the best ending because he has no idea.
Yeah. He's waiting for like Preston Jacobs to finish his fanfic. He's like, this is going pretty well. And if you haven't read those or listened to those, it is enjoyable. I mean, it's not Martin, but it definitely he takes from there's so many people. Oh, sorry. So many people sending in, like he'll be like, okay, we're doing Sweet Robin POV 1, and they'll send in what they think would have happened next with Sweet Robin, and he puts it all together in a cohesive way. It's pretty interesting.
I feel like Sweet Rob POV would be just him in the search for the next breast.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a guy. What are you going to do? Aw, Jane. Jane gifted one Sporky News podcast membership, everybody.
Oh, hey, Jane. Hope
We
to see
missed
you tonight at Madapap, 9:15 p.m. Central. Don't forget.
Central.
I don't know if you've been checking Discord, but we explained how you don't have to worry about drinking the blood. There's plenty of water already at our base.
Wait,
Great.
whoa. Wait, what? What
But if
about
I
drinking
want
blood?
to drink the blood,
No,
Well,
he said
yeah,
you
bro,
don't
you in a
have to.
desert.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have you not been to Caradides, Iraqis? No, not in
Spin
Iraq.
Yes,
Sorry.
Yeah, what are
What?
you talking
Dune, motherfuckers.
about?
Oh, Arrakis?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's what he
What
said.
did I say?
Yeah,
Iraqis?
You
I heard
said
it clear as
Iraq.
day. Iraq is. I'm
I
sorry.
mean,
he's
they're
from
pretty
Texas,
similar.
dude. He's from Texas.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sand
I've
involved.
been to Iraq.
Yeah.
Iraq has a civilization, or
He
Arrakis
found
has
a
a
desert.
civilization.
He found a desert worm. It was just a small one in the bush.
Ooh. it bit me. Something bit me.
Anyway,
Anyways, so is the
Anyways.
Song of Ice and Fire the real prophecy? Okay, so we go back to Master Aemon on his deathbed, talking about Dany. It has to be her. The dragons prove it. He believes Dany is the promised one. Others believe it's Jon, but both these figures suffer, die, in Jon's case, literally, and never get clarity. We believe, actually, that Dany died too and came back a fire white. Perhaps that's the point, though. Maybe there was never meant to be a single savior. The title of the series itself, A Song of Ice and Fire, may be the prophecy, not one person, but the balance of elements. Jon ice, Dany fire, and all the forces that flow through them. What I do love is that Sam Tarly is going to be our, Frodo / Samwell writing the book at the end, I believe. Sam Tarly may be our unexpected truth seeker. He doesn't see visions. He doesn't believe in prophecies. He reads books. And his arc shows that knowledge, not fire or prophecy, might be the true salvation. I mean, the guy learned how to take off grayscale. You peel it off the person, and they survive. Yeah. He is no warrior, the words say, but Sam fights anyways, and he learns. He saves Gilly and her child. He kills another with a dragon. What? He kills no, it was another, not just a white. I believe he killed another with fire dragon glass.
In the show he did. I'm pretty sure he did it in the book as well, but I know for a fact it was the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the book he kills one. Because they call him Sam the Slayer in the book because they don't believe him.
No, that was just talking about how he gets down with Gilly.
Well, he does have
like,
a
boy,
huge
he be
dong.
slaying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why his dad was like, "You're not going to become the next heir because you're hung more
You're
than
a
me,
whore.
and your brother has a smaller one, so I feel more manly."
That's why I named him Dickon.
So
Rest in peace, Tarly. Randall
Yeah.
Tarley and Dickon Tarley. They
Yeah,
deserved better.
Dickon, who did not have to die, but he said, "Screw this! I'm standing next to my dad and burning."
He
So
had
what do-
significantly more balls than the entirety of the Unsullied.
Or he's in. Yeah, that's true. Or he's an
No, he's
idiot.
just an idiot. He
Yeah,
has no
Danny
heir.
died.
The whole house is gone. Sam's given up his claim to the house.
Real quick,
Matrilineal.
Brian McCann, 21-month member. And he says, watch Dune Part 1 and 2, was not impressed. Can I tell
Well,
you?
you're wrong. Dune 2 was my favorite movie of that year.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I loved both of
Oh,
them.
I
I didn't like the
first
ending,
one,
though.
yeah.
Nope.
I
did not
will
like the
keep my
ending.
opinion on that movie quiet then.
Yeah, good. Not tonight, because I know you can go forever. The only thing I don't like is the idea that whoever her name is, that
Shawnee.
yeah, Shawnee would
I fucking hate her.
go against him. In the book, like, she understood that he had to marry. Anyways, we'll talk about that another night, or
We
maybe
can argue
later.
about that somewhere else.
Yeah,
We
but
can
I can tell
demonstrate.
you, Brian McCann, keep your eyes out. I will let you know in my community tab when Lost and Leaked podcast starts on Spotify and iTunes. The first episode is going to be about the Tartarian Empire. I know you would like that. So let me wrap this one little piece up. Is there no savior, only choices? So let's imagine the closing moments of the series, a book accurate ending. Jon Snow, broken by duty, walks the snow of the north. Daenerys is gone. The dragons are gone. The war is over, but no one won. In Old Town, Sam closes a heavy tome. A novice asks, what is the truth then? The prince that was promised. Sam blinks slowly. I don't think there ever was one. Then who saved the world? We all did, or none of us did. Maybe that's the real song. I put that together myself. Thank you.
That reminds me of the end of Indiana Jones when he went, knowledge was our treasure.
Yeah, right. So, perfect. Yeah, Jane, you tell him. So there are a couple other things to bring up. So we got different heroes from around Essos. Yi Ti legend, the Jade Compendium, recounts a legend from Yi Ti, which states that the sun hid its face from the earth for a lifetime. Disaster was averted only by the deeds of a woman with a monkey's tail. Ronar legends, Lomas Longstrider, what a great name. Lomas Longstrider, in his Wonders Made by Man, recounts meeting descendants of the Ronar in the ruins of the festival city of Croyane. These Ronar have tales of a darkness that made the Ronar dwindle and disappear. Its waters frozen as far south as joining of the Selhoru. According to these tales, the return of the sun came only when a hero convinced Mother Ronar's many children, lesser gods like the Crab King and the Old Man of the River, to put aside their bickering and join together to sing a secret song that brought back the day. Song. Think about it.
So like a rain dance, but for the sun.
But for the sun. Yeah. General Eastern accounts in the annals of the further east, the blood betrayal is named as the usurpation that ushered in the darkness. That would be the Bloodstone Emperor usurping his sister, who was the Empress. All agree that the darkness endured for an unknown period, but it ended only when a great warrior arose to give courage to men and lead the virtuous into battle with his blazing lightbringer sword. The figures is known as, you got Harakun the hero, Azor Ahai Yentar, Nefrion, Eldrick Shadowcaster. These are all people that different cultures recount that fought off the darkness
What was that
and
first
brought
name
back
again?
the light. The first one was Hirakun the hero. It's Hyrkoon. So why do we just focus on the prince that was promised in Azor Ahai? It's because we're told to. but we're told by George that these are important because Rhaegar started, a war started because Rhaegar believed it.
Yeah, because if people are going, oh, I can't wait for Hurricane to come back, it just sounds a little bit racist.
But it does a little bit. But if you think about it, if you take the whole world into account, none of these heroes or all of these heroes are the same person, or they're all different people that did their part to defeat the Long Night. So will we get?
They're also assuming that it was defeated in the past, and that this isn't the first time. Like,
Right, and there wasn't some pact that just sent them away for a while, because a lot of us
Yeah.
believe that A Song of Ice and Fire really was a pact between the others and whoever Azor Ahai
children.
figure, the children. Well, they might been a part of it. With the last hero, maybe that's all he did. He went to the children. It wasn't magic. They just made a deal with the others who may have been their children, to stop their war on men, and they will give them some special union of ice and fire.
Well, that does raise the question of if the others are basically a weapons platform to stop the first men's invasion of Westeros, how do you have stories from the Dothraki about the grass sea getting all icy, and how do you have the stories of the others on the other continent unless it was something older? Because when it mentioned of like the sons of the Rhoynar or the children of the Rhoynar bringing it back, the children of the Rhoynar, that sound, and being water spirits, that sounds like another nature spirit, kind of like the children. Who's to say that you didn't have? Who's to say that the history of Planetos is not older than that first war against the others? Who's to say you don't have
It definitely is.
a Numidian Chronicles
Well,
beneath that?
Well, look at the history. We know about the Great Empire of the Dawn. They came before most written accounts. Their emperors were all colors of gems, and we know that when Danny has, that almost came out really wrong. Danny has a vision, or one of the visions or prophecies, dreams she has. She sees eye colors, and it's the exact account of each gemstone emperor. We do know that even before that, people don't know who brought the black stone, that the Hightower Tower is on, or the
Maybe they've got to
Stone
gather all the
chair.
stones together and put it in like a glove,
Nah, that
What?
feels kind
and
of
then
tacky.
click your fingers.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay, I wasn't following you. Damn it, that was good. I should have went with it. Another thing could be is, there used to be dragons in Westeros. Maybe they fought back the others and died out. The others, it's weird because the others come back way before the comet. What is it like that initiates them coming back? We know that Mance is trying to bring all the tribes of the North together under his leadership to move south. How long has he been working on that? How long have they been
Ever since he stopped being Arthur Dane.
Well, that's true. Yeah, maybe.
An answer could be found in Clausewitz. It could just be a simple case of mobilization, wherein it may not be these great heroes of the past that saved the world, that defeated the others. Could have just been a rear guard action that stalled them long enough for the others to go, okay, this calculus, this math ain't mathin'. We've spent too many bodies. Let's go back to the north. We've got time on our side. We've got immortality on our side. Let's regroup in the far north where they'll never come get us. They measure their time in years. We measure our time in ages. We'll just go back down and kill them all next time.
Right. That's a good way of putting it. I mean, it is one of these things where we don't know if they were ever defeated. They just stopped their attack. I mean, if they're back now, they weren't wiped out. We know that much. George has told us that the seasons, it's the reason the seasons are the way they are. There was a magical issue. So we don't know if the long night caused that. The one thing I think I remember correctly, and the chat will let me know, the pact between, after the battles between the first men and the children, they made the pact on the God's Eye, and then the long night happened after that. And in the
So
pact,
you think they're responsible for it?
well, I know the show makes it that the children are, but I believe that too. Like the children got railroaded in this pact. The men got everything. The only thing men couldn't do was cut down weirwoods anymore. And
Which they end up doing anyway.
right. And then the children got the very deep woods. But men got, the mountains, the valleys, the coast, the rivers, everything else. And we see in that.
Okay, so you're saying, for instance, that the pact says, all right, you can't attack us and we can't attack you. And they went, yeah, that's fine. We will not attack you. And then they create
something else that
the
attacks
others.
because they're like, this
Yeah.
sucks, dude. These guys are taking over everything. And we see in that sample chapter
Well, they need
that,
to be better. They need to get a better lawyer then.
yeah, they really needed a better negotiator.
But in the case of that, then why do you have White Walkers all the way in ET? Why do you have White Walkers all the way in the Dothraki Sea? So them being created specifically to fight the First Men, unless this is a case of George kind of forgetting certain details and changing them later, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for this to be a weapons platform for fighting the First Men, unless the Children of the Forest could power project all the way on the other side of the world. Which, if they can power project like that, how the hell were they losing in Westeros?
Well, one thing is First Men do come from Essos. They do break the arm of Dorne before the long night. Now, I don't know if you go very far north, it connects to Essos somehow. Because don't forget, on the other side, if you look, Essos, here, I got the map somewhere. Essos has is it the 5 towers? So yeah, Westeros has the wall, and Essos has, I want to say it's the 5 towers. I don't know if I have Essos here. I don't. I'll get a map real quick.
I'll find something.
All right, yeah, just find Essos. If you look at the northeastern portion of Essos, where the Great Empire of the Dawn was, I believe Yi was the ancient civilization. There are 5 towers that protect them from the Great Wasteland, it's called, or something like that.
Oh, the Grey Waste?
Yeah, the Grey Waste. So look in that area.
This one, this one that I found, it doesn't specifically mark out any towers, but it does. It is Essos, so you might be able to point out what you're trying to talk about.
Okay.
Well, it also depends on how long ago it was, because they could have been like a Pangea sort of scenario where it was one entire mass.
Wait, wasn't the Long Night 8,000 years ago or something like that, if I remember right? So
10,000, I believe.
10,000, yeah, very long away. Not long enough for there to be a Pangea like shift.
Well, maybe in our world. Let's not forget you have creatures that broke a humongous landmass to divide the continents. So you never know magically what could happen.
Well, yeah, but there would probably be some record of that kind of devastation and destruction.
Yeah, and
no, that was survived through prophecy.
But they still discuss the arm of Dorne in the fairy tales. There would still be some level of mention of other parts of the world shattering and breaking.
This guy, he always knows what he's talking about. No, you got a valid point.
Subjectively.
Yeah, valid point.
I self-loathe and I know things.
Well put. I keep clicking on the map.
Forget things.
I keep clicking on the map of Essos, and it keeps going away. Here we go. We'll just go right here. Boom. All right. And I zoom in.
What are you showing us?
I'm not showing anybody anything quite yet.
Oh.
I know I do that a lot. So
I'll try to zoom in and get over to like the Grey Waste area you were talking about.
Yeah. So all the way, if you keep going a little bit more,
this is as far as the map I found gives me.
All right, let's see. City of yeah, it's not there. It is not
Okay,
there.
I'll look again then.
There's usually a good map that's it's more like parchment looking.
Oh, I think I found it. Hold on. Is it?
There's a place there called Bone Town. Nice.
Wait, no, that's this one's not right. Is it this one?
Yeah, these lands were also once connected. Yep. It was the landmass. It was one landmass. Are you
Oh,
gonna
hold on. I think I may have found it. I think I
Okay.
may have found the one you were talking about. Oh, this is on Oh, this is interactive. This is on World Anvil. This is probably what you were talking about.
Okay. So if you can go, yep. Not the Dothraki Sea. Why don't it go down towards those mountains?
Oh,
No.
wait, no, this is even smaller.
Yeah, that's
This is even
lamer.
smaller.
God, what are you doing to me?
Yeah,
Why
sorry
are you
about
No,
that.
like this?
I mean, why do you always act like this, man? Jeez.
I don't know. It could be the Zoomer energy.
There you go, you freaking zoomers.
Yeah, no, because a lot of the maps I'm finding cut off right behind the mountain range.
I noticed
Those in
that
the
too. And the one that
Yeah,
I can
they
bring up, I can't zoom in on for some reason.
yeah they make the Bleeding Sea way freaking bigger than it actually is.
Yeah, because it's like past a mountain range. So
Is
it's
it, or is this the one that? No,
we
this is
just
the one I
spent
just brought up.
hours trying to figure this out, but whatever.
Yeah, sorry that I wait. Hold on, is this the one you were talking? No, this is.
We can't see what you're seeing.
I'm just gonna stop talking then because I'm just raging at my frick. Yeah, no, I can't find everything. Either cuts off at the mountain range just before,
Mhm.
cuts off like just east of Vaestel Rock,
All
or
right, I
it's
think
the
I got
map
it.
that I just pulled up. So
I think I
I
got
have
it.
failed you. I
No,
will
I think I got it. I don't
I
know if
will
I
play
can zoom
Elden
in, but I'll
Ring,
share
no
this.
armor. I'll play
Kick
Elden
in
Ring
the
with no
nards.
weapons and no armor.
Kick
That is my
in the
penance.
nards. Let's see. That didn't work. Oh, there we go. How do I do this?
Wait, no,
You're
that showed
just
up on
searching.
that.
I mean, it's
That
right.
area showed
If
up
you
on
guys
the
didn't see my arrows, it's like right there.
Yeah, so I think the map I pulled up had this, but it didn't have the detail of what you're trying to show.
Right. There we go. Oh man, I almost had it. Down.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, man, it blew up like where I wanted. All right, right here you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the towers. Oh, you can't see my arrow. Those are the towers I'm talking about. And this is the gray waste. So this mountain range, and then you had these towers built to
Is that a
defend.
mountain range or is that a mountain range or is that the inland sea?
Oh, it might be that inland sea. You're right. But it's
Hold on,
still
let
something
me
to
pull it back up.
divide the continent. Smarty pants.
The Bleeding Sea. The Bleeding Sea.
Bleeding sea, right. Let me see if I can get over here. These are things I can just waste my time on all freaking day.
Yeah, you got the Bleeding Sea to the north, and you have the Hidden Sea to the east, and you have a bunch of rivers that lead down to what looks like ET.
Mm-hmm. What frig am I looking at? All right. Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. So
Okay, so if that's the bleeding sea, if they've got starfish in there, that could be the bleeding star that they were talking about in the prophecy.
Holy crap. You just called it. And then like one gets launched out. Like, okay, you're fishing. You feel a yank. So you pull super hard and it's a starfish, red one, going into the air. There you go.
While you were smoking.
While you were smoking some, hobbit leaf. I don't know.
Also, the Thousand Islands could be a hint at another deployment of whatever weapons platform was used to take out the arm. Because if you look at the map, what other region looks kind of like the Thousand Isles? Stepstones and Valyria. Valyria was made by a tactical detonation of a volcano. The Stepstones was made by the tactical application of a horn of some kind. Maybe the Thousand Isles was also the deployment of some kind of weapon system to stem the tide.
Well, there are people that believe this is a post-apocalyptic story. I don't know about
I
that.
believe it.
Now, I do
Well,
know
they
that
keep calling it a sci-fi fantasy book, which always bugs me, where it's not considered just hard fantasy.
Right. I do want to say that the last time we went over, I think it was Ariana 1 sample chapter, they literally stay in a cave that was what I believe where the children did the ritual to cause the breaking of the arm of Dorne, because it is this, I mean, it's like Tolkien-esque massive cavern with columns, and it's like a city underground that's hidden in a deep forest, which would be the children's if they still were around down in the south. We don't know if they are. They can hide really well, but everything that is major about this story happens underground. They break the arm underground. The crypt is very valuable. People get laid at Mole's Town. That's underground. When Castle Rock's going to be destroyed by somebody, they have to go through tunnels. Like, it's every place you go, there's under the Red Keep, massive tunnel systems, and a well that mermen can dive into, right, Matt? Mermen. It's just, if it is a post-apocalyptic story, these underground facilities are a big clue to that. But I don't know. That would be really whacked if George went that route. Like, it's actually like Earth after a nuclear holocaust and millions of years. This is the new form of man. I don't know.
I wouldn't say it needs to go that far, but he could definitely lean into the whole because there is a reigning theory that there was a civilization either during the Ice Age or that preceded the Ice Age, where we get things like Lemuria, Hyperborea, Stygia, basically any name that was used in Howard's Conan series that existed existed So it could definitely be a case of you had a civilization that was beyond, possibly even near industrial or modern, not modern as in 21st century, but modern as in 16th century.
Right.
And then the others attacked and just wiped everything out, and that reverted everyone to pre-agrarian, and then they built themselves up. Others attacked again, but there was magic this time. They knew how to fight back with magic, and then this is the third time where the magic is dead and they don't have the same level of technology they had before, which means they're going to get their kings left.
Don't forget about, there was a catastrophe. They used to have, there's always that story about the two moons, and one moon got too close to the sun and blew up, and that's when dragons fell from the sky. So meteors falling from the sky, that could have caused a extinction level catastrophe. So and it could have been, because the children, the giants, they were the rulers of this planet until after these things happened, like the meteors, and then men appeared and they multiplied way faster, and they used better weapons, and they took over.
Conjunction of the spheres. Witcher.
Yeah.
The conjunction of the spheres from The Witcher.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but there's a great article about The Witcher from Bounding Into Comics. There's like just a story about that prequel series they did was going to rewrite the whole show. I don't know. It's a really good, like really, really good article.
That article's gone now.
No, it's not. Is it?
It's gone.
Come on, shut up. That's the only time I've been quoted. Come on. I'm going to put it in the chat if I find it, guys.
Just use the Wayback Machine. The internet is forever.
It really is. I just want to know. He messes with me too much. I never know if he's telling the truth or not.
You can never trust those Australians. That's why they live there. It's a penal colony. It's solitary confinement, but on a continental scale.
Yeah. So what do you, are there any other prophecies or things you could think of that in A Song of Ice and Fire that you can show that, okay, this prophecy didn't go the way they thought it would? because you do have people that are prophetic. I mean, you have the ghost of High Heart, who's most likely the Woods Witch that people talk about. She's pretty much what she says comes to pass. You also have what's her name, Quaith. You know, she's giving Danny all these, you know, weird prophecies or visions.
And
The
then we
House of the
never see her
Undying.
again.
Yeah.
So I think the House of the Undying is a good start, but I think it's so sporadic and scattered that these are all like just possibilities.
Uh-huh.
Technically,
Go into
Um,
that a
no.
little bit more.
Oh.
No, I want you to kind of you go into that a little bit more, because you're making some sense there.
Essentially, like I still feel like that the house was trying to keep her there
Mm-hmm.
because you know you've got all these people that are there that are alive yet they're dead, and I think that those were just distractions. Not saying that they're not real or anything. I think that's why it was so effective is because it was showing her everything that can happen,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily everything that will. Because free will still exists within this world.
That's true. Yes.
And if they could show everything that was going to happen, why didn't they show her burning the place down?
She got Horace Lupercaled. I see.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Well, I'm thinking of different people's dreams. So, like, you have the damp hair. I've been calling him damp fair for so long. The damp hair, Aeron Greyjoy, experiences dreams of darkness rising to swallow him, accompanied by Yuri and the scream of a rusted hinge. Is haunted by fever. You don't know that one? There
From
is
Forsaken?
huh? Well,
It's in Forsaken.
yeah, the Forsaken sample chapter talks about how most likely it's implied that, and more than implied, but what's his name? Crow's Eye. Euron Greyjoy pretty much raped his younger brothers.
Allegedly.
So, yeah, allegedly. Wow, just George doesn't hold back. He just goes for it.
Except for when it comes to writing the book.
Yeah. Hold on, but he has a fever dream of Urigon, one of his brothers, dreams of the drowned god festering with seawater dripping from his hair, recalls seeing the red comet in the sky when he first dreamed of sweeping over the Greenlands with fire and sword to root out the gods and white trees, experiences dark and disturbing dreams that leave his mouth full of blood from biting his tongue, which he interprets as a warning from the drowned god. He also has a dream of the Ironborn longships adrift and burning on a boiling blood red sea, which could be what happens after Euron does his whatever, maybe blood sacrifice.
Really soon, Kraken.
Yeah, he sees his brother on the Iron Throne, and he transforms into a Kraken-like monster with withering tentacles for a face. He sees a shadowy woman. This is the one next to him, his brother on the Iron Throne. A shadowy woman, tall and terrible, with hands alive with pale white fire, stands beside Euron in his dreams. Now, Euron wants Dany. A lot of us think Dany might be a fire white. Could it be that that's actually what happens? He ends up with Dany. I don't think it'll happen, but it's kind of interesting.
So he's gonna fuck the queen.
It's still on there, dude. I found it. Big shout out to Spencer for writing this article, which, I mean, who wouldn't, because I'm amazing. Check out that Foundings in
Allegedly.
comment. Allegedly. If you're into
I'm gonna get you a
The Witcher.
t-shirt that says I'm so fucking humble.
Yeah, it should. I'm so fucking humble. I am amazing.
Allegedly. That is my second favorite word, if you couldn't tell.
I love this. Thousand Islands dressing is made with mayo. Mayo is often made with lemon juice. Danny had a lemon tree. Sansa loves lemon cakes. The connection is clear. 11 Alpha.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
it's just it's mayonnaise, ketchup or tomato sauce, whatever you want to call it, and lemon. That's Thousand Island dressing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an instrument.
Talking about Arya, because he says, okay, host Arya watches a magical gate seal itself under the Red Keep. She hears many people below her. Magical gate travel is happening in text. He really wrote that. So we're saying we have like a transport gate of some sort. So Arya has dreams of blood, a full moon overhead, and trees watching her as she runs. This is her actually not dreaming, but being able to warg into her direwolf that is a continent, like an ocean away, which is pretty impressive. She experiences wolf dreams where she runs free through moonlight forests with a great pack. Let's see, dreams that weasel. Bran Stark experiences wolf dreams. Repeatedly dreams of the three-eyed crow flying into his room and taking him to the crypts where where his sad father talks to him, possibly about Jon. This dream is deeply disturbing. So he says, does Simon Star-eyed where is that mentioned? Okay. And what was that? Ludwin peered through his tube. It was something to do about Jon, I think. The dream had been deeply disturbing, more so than any of the other crow dreams. Hodor won't go down into the crypts. Maester Aemon, or the Maester had only been half listening. Bran could tell. He lifted his eye from the tube, blinking. Hodor won't go down into the crypts. When I woke, I told him to take me down to see Father was truly there. At first, he didn't know what I was saying, but I got him to the steps by telling him to go here and go there. Only then he wouldn't go down. He just stood on the top step and said Hodor, like he was scared of the dark, but I had a torch. It made me so mad I almost gave him a swat in the head, like old Nan is always doing. He saw the way the maester was frowning and hurriedly added, I didn't though. Good. Hodor is a man, not a mule to be beaten. Yeah, but he enters him. In the dream, I flew down with the crow, but I can't do that when I'm awake. Why would you want to go to the crypts? I told you to look for Father. The maester tugged at the chain around his neck, as he often did when he was uncomfortable. Bran, sweet child, one day Lord Edark will sit below in stone beside his father and his father's father and all the Starks back to the old kings of the north. But that will not be for many years. Gods be good. Your father is a prisoner of the Queen in King's Landing. You will not find him in the crypts. He was there last night. I talked to him. Stubborn boy. Would you like to go see? I can't. Hodor won't go, and the steps are too narrow and twisted for Dancer. I believe I can solve that. In place of Hodor, the wilding woman Osha brings him down. I lived my life beyond the wall. A hole in the ground won't fret me none, me lord. Summer come. They go down. Bran could not recall the last time he's been in the crypts. So here we go. Grim folk by the look of them, talking about the old people, the stone statues. They were the kings of the north, Bran whispered. Somehow it felt wrong to talk too loudly in this place. Osha smiled. Winter's got no king. If you'd seen it, you'd know that, summer boy. They were the kings in the north for 1,000 years, Master Ludwin said, lifting the torch high so the light shone on their stone faces. Some were hairy, bearded, blah, 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 blah. Hard men for a hard time. Come. And they keep going. Do you recall your history, Bran? Tell Osha, blah, blah, blah. See, I think a lot of this stuff is important. Old Nan had made them come alive. That one is Jon Stark when the Sea Raiders landed. Where does he talk about the goddamn dream?
Dreams are prophecies also. That's how a lot of seems to be worded.
Yes.
Like if you dream something, then it has to be coming true. Like I
Well, I
dreamt
mean,
that I was falling down an elevator and landed on a giant cake, but it actually turned out to be like a fox.
yeah.
So I hope that doesn't come true.
Well, you think about yeah, that would suck. You think about, fever dreams are usually about the past, and then people have these other vision dreams that are about the future. Bran foresaw his dad being dead in the crypts. His brother saw it too. Rickon, he was down there looking for his father. I don't know if that's in the it's in the books too. You have who else has like visions in their dreams?
Jamie Lannister.
Yeah, sleeping on the weirwood. Yeah. Um,
Well, is there any? I can't think off the top of my head any like prophecies or anything like that from the Faceless Men, because you would have think something like that would have had a whole heap.
yeah,
I
they
can't
only live
recall
by like a code.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they're no one. So they only believe in death. Death, every god has is a different face of death to them.
yeah.
So in a
I mean,
way,
they take the many facing pretty seriously.
yeah, they do.
It's like that kink.
Wait a minute. What is this? Moon hits our planet. Cataclysm, then worlds. Realms collide because we effed with magic we didn't understand. It's seriously in the text. Harrenhal is a realm gate, as is the Black Gate. Atlantis has one. It's broken now. 11 alpha, penal. But at some point, magic and science came together. I believe that too. So, in some people are able to use not telekinesis, like they're able to enter other people's minds using glass candles. I mean, that's a mixture of some type of telepathy and magic. It's weird that most people can't use magic until the dragons are born again. You have the warlock saying since the birth of her dragons, their magic has gotten much more powerful. Who else? The people that could use it before Mary Mazdul, which that probably goes to show you how powerful she really was.
Yeah, and if she was so powerful and everything, what is her backstory?
Well, we know she has connections with Marwyn the Mage. We know she's been, I think she met him or they were in a shy together. Here, well, let me figure that out. Mary Maz. Is it Mary space MAZ space DOL, you think?
DUL, yeah, I think so. MAZ
How do you spell
DUL, Mazdul, yeah.
Merwin the Mage.
MERWYN.
That's it. MERWYN. All right. So their connection, if I spelled her name right, because it might have been Mari, Mary Mazdul. Sorry if anybody's bored. We always get to this point. And I love it. Oh, it's MIR. Oh God, I spelled her name completely wrong.
You weren't even close.
I wasn't even close, dude. All right, let's see. So
okay, with
real quick, let me just all right. Yeah. So Miri Mazdur, it's DUUR, was a past student. Okay, so Miri Mazdur explicitly states that a maester from the Sunset Lands named Merwin taught her about anatomy, specifically how to open a body for me and show me all the secrets that hide beneath the skin. She also credits him with teaching her the common tongue. She recalls that he wore a chain so tight it was like to choke him, Iron Lord with links of many metals. She's talking to Mormont, I believe, at that time. Confirms his characteristics of the maester. Such men do know much of healing. Mary learned from him when she traveled to a shy by the shadow to study with mages. Merwin's background, often called Merwin the Mage, is known for spending 8 years in the East, where he dedicated his time to mapping distant lands, searching for lost books, and studying warlocks and shadowbinders. He associations included horrors and hedge wizards, and he is known to.
It seems more like science than magic, though. What he's doing.
Yeah, well, think about it. You have to add, what's his name? The dude that we meet in Harrenhal, and who?
Yeah.
Starts with a
Not
Q, doesn't it?
Pycelle.
Somebody in the thing that's with Cersei right now, and he made the mountain.
What do we keep forgetting his
Qyburn.
fucking
I think
name?
it's Qyburn. I'm pretty sure it was
Qyburn. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to also add that in because they're all like, we have magic in a world, but yet he gets kicked out of the Citadel because he wants to practice science. But yet they consider themselves learned men and they don't like magic. But yet when somebody's trying to improve their own knowledge scientifically, they call him a monster pretty much.
Yeah.
It's, like, what are the maesters really up to?
That's the thing. Like the maester, the whole maester situation is very reminiscent of like 14th century like Catholic Church. They were the ones that you'd go to for your healing, for your ability to learn something. They were the central figure of everything, and I feel like that's the way that they're represented in there. But I also feel like, unlike the other churches of old, like the Borgias and all that sort of stuff, I feel like they're way more politically driven. They're driven by status and control. Like,
I think it's control.
Yeah.
Think about them. People are like, oh, they give up their house name to dedicate themselves to helping the realm. No, they give up their house name so no one can connect them to what they're doing. If you had a maester who was like another Maester Aemon, someone who we didn't know was a Targaryen working at, Storm's End. That's the reason they give up the last name, so there's no conflict. And these people slip in.
Yeah, it's also a way in which to gather multiple houses and get your information from multiple sources without having to go, well, it was definitely come from this family or this family, or like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that in the world of having to give up who you are for another cause, whether it be Night's Watch, the Faceless Men, being a maester, Knight's Guard, Kingsguard.
Kingsguard, right. Well, listen to this. And you think about, like, this is one of the maesters, Marwyn, talking about the other maesters. So he even states his intent to reach Dany before others are sent by the Citadel and warn her against speaking of prophecies or dragons. If one wishes to avoid poison in your porridge, implying a deeper understanding of the dangerous political and magical currents he involves himself in. So, the idea that, yes, she does have dragons, but if she is fixated on prophecies, if she's fixated on dragons and magic, the Citadel will make it look like an accident. They work for the Clintons. It's like the Citadel is the Clinton Foundation. Where did Shadow go? I didn't even notice he left.
Oh, yeah, Shadow left about 25 minutes ago.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, like I guess you got a Targaryen who's obsessed with prophecies and everything, one or two things come to mind. Either they are fully aware of all the prophecies and they don't
Mhm.
want the word to get out, or they're worried what a Targaryen would do based purely and simply on the fact that we have a history of
Right. Flip a
Targaryens going
coin.
mad over prophecies.
Well, and
Yeah.
let's not forget, they are the keepers of knowledge. They may have information about certain magic, certain prophecies, certain people that's why they're doing what they're doing. They might have even deeper knowledge of what may come if certain people like, you know, if this union of the prince that were promised coming from the incest, um merging of Ares and his wife, this prince, they might have something that says that person's the end of the world. Like, so there are
Yeah.
there's,
Like it could
there's
be,
definitely
as
a
you said,
grand
about,
conspiracy.
yeah, well, I mean, they want to stop the dragons. They did.
Hmm.
Now they're back. What's their backup plan? They would have a plan
Hmm.
in there.
Right. It's man. Yeah. You know what? Next week we're gonna do the maesters. Um and do you think the maester, because Old Town has, the Citadel, but it also has the, I don't know what it's called there, but it's like the Starry Sept, like they're big,
Yeah,
it's the home of the religion, the
it's
home
the
of
home of the
the
religion and the home of the
knowledge.
education. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
dude. And the religion doesn't want, I mean, the Targaryens are definitely the ones they don't want in power. They don't like, the religion hates the incest and the multiple wives. The knowledge fears their power. What
well, how old is Old Town?
uh it's it's goes back
Yeah.
thousands of years. So
So
they have, it's like the
that,
uh Library of Alexandria, or even
yeah,
deeper.
they've got all this knowledge and everything to the point that even Aegon didn't destroy it because he knew how valuable it was.
Right. Truth. Yeah, you're right about that. And even though one of the greatest heroes of all time, um, King
Jesus.
Maegor,
Oh,
and
or
well, they're a lot alike. Um, After his fall and what's his name, Jaharis takes over, he makes sure to fly to Old Town with his dragon as a warning, but he knows he
Yeah.
needs the support of the people in that town
Yeah.
to rule Westeros. So yeah, we definitely have to talk about them.
Also, I think he went down there looking for a fight.
Mm.
He loves beating up
Yeah,
those religious types.
yeah, you know how it is. Well, they come at you, he's going to come at, I mean, God, Maegor gets a bad rap. History did not look fine. The same historians that write about Alicent and uh
Jaehaerys,
no, Queen, no, the princess and the queen. You got Alicent and
Rhaenyra.
Dance of Dragon, Rhaenyra. We know from the show that all they ever wanted was peace. And these men with their history books make them look out to be evil. Huh.
She
Um,
gave up her children.
yeah, right. Well, not her daughter, because
Well, yeah, no, because she would have seen that coming.
she would have. She would have. Adding, I just want to throw one thing in, adding Qyburn to that little trio. He quotes Marwyn criticizing the Citadel, stating the Archmaesters are all craven at heart. They're the gray sheep, Marwyn calls them. This indicates shared critical perspective on the mainstream maesters and their conventional approach to knowledge. Qyburn's exile from the Citadel stemmed from his desire to understand the nature of death by opening the bodies of the living. So that was the difference, maybe between Miri and Merwin. I always say his name wrong. And Qyburn, because he wanted to do surgeries. Um, Damn gray sheep. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to talk about, guys. Do you want in the chat? Do you want to hear about the Maesters conspiracy next week? I think it'll be a good one. Kirsty Angel, thank you for being here. Golden blood is also a real thing in blood types. The rarest kind, about 50 people in the entire world are known to have it, and they're indigenous, so suggestive of children of the forest or possibly the, wait a minute, in real world golden blood, are you talking like, or in a Game of Thrones? Because I've never heard of that in either. Hey, Monkey Jeebus. Mad, I was told Mad has no legs. Mad, would you like to speak on that? I know you're getting probably ready for your show in a half hour. April, May, X.
Wait, what is this about me and legs?
Monkey Jeebus says, I was told Mad has no legs.
Who told you that?
Right there, Monkey Jeebus.
No, I know that's who
Oh.
told you. Who told Monkey Jeebus? Because I have two.
Still.
I mean, I might have mentioned that you get a little bit legless sometimes, but that's just about your drinking problems.
Oh, I thought it was about my bow and arrowing.
Yeah, took an arrow to the knee again.
Legolas, remember?
Oh yeah.
Going
11
back on
Alpha.
mute.
From Lord of the Rings. You know?
The guy from Lord of the Rings and
Yeah.
The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He looked a little bit older in The Hobbit. And it took place before. It was weird.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. How smart can maesters be if they can't figure out that Alaris is Sorella backwards? Very good point. Very good point. Old Town is Rome. King's Landing maybe. What is that one?
Ancient.
I was thinking if Old Town is Rome, who were the, not Egypt, but next door to them were where they supposedly salted their fields after they beat them. Come on, Mad, you're a historian. The Romans battling Carthaginians. I would think it's more like
Carcinogenics. Yeah, the carcinogenics.
Yeah, they just kept smoking shit. April May says maesters want to stop magic, women, because it's females in A Song of Ice and Fire who can access magic, not men. What about the warlocks? I mean, they wanted Dany's vitality, but
I mean, that sounds more like Wheel of Time, but yeah.
yeah. Are you a writer on the Wheel of Time? Great series. Too bad they canceled it. Mad's legs were blown off by a Tuscan raiders in the war. Yep, that happened. Jaharis was beefing. Yeah, Maegor was a Pifo. He hurt Rhea and her friends. He was just trying to make a point. Maegor was probably the mightiest of kings.
Yeah, so he's actually got like a prophecy or a legend around him because he died on the throne.
Yeah.
So if it cuts you, then you're not worthy.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Like, they never knew what happened. Did he die naturally on the throne, or was he murdered by the maesters or the religion?
Yeah, he probably just had a brain aneurysm. I mean, he did have a big, massive head injury from when he fought the Seven.
Yeah, true. Kirsty Angel, thank you for adding stuff to the topic. Azor Ahai etymology, Azor, Azoru, blue skies, aha, and Mance equals mother. To me, Azor Ahai is the blue-eyed mother of the others, and either the ice dragon or the blue star rider of the ice dragon.
Bet you she has a blue flower too.
Not this. Whoa, that's interesting. Blue rose. Is it connected to the pale blue-eyed woman that married the Night's King from the books, not from the stupid show? Okay, yeah, he did hate puppies. Everyone has their faults.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kirsty's talking about the one from above.
The
Golden blood.
Real
I've
gold.
never heard of that. I'm gonna have to look into that. Santa Claus was originally used as a scarecrow by Welsh farmers to scare off J.R.R. Martin. You've been drinking. Aix-la-Chapelle, or Charlemagne's capital. Oh, I didn't know that. Some people try to say that Charlemagne wasn't a real figure and that that era was those lost centuries.
No, Charlemagne's definitely real. I saw him on Flagrant. He's real good friends with Andrew Schultz.
Yeah. Charlemagne what's his full name? Charlemagne the something or something the Charlemagne, right? Anyways, no, there was that Pope, and I don't know which king he was supposedly working with, that they wanted to be the king and the Pope when the millennia turned to 1,000. So they skipped a couple centuries, and people said they implanted the story of Charlemagne to make it seem like that time was magical. I'm not saying he's not real. I'm just saying what people say. Conspiracy. Talking about conspiracies. Well, real quick, tell you about conspiracies. Keep your eye on the community tab, Spork of Ice and Fire, because a new podcast is coming to iTunes and Spotify. It's Lost and Leaked. And the first episode will be about the Tartarian Empire, real or not. You be the judge. Bloodraven needs women, warlocks, Euron. Catalyst, not Caddy. Rhea killed him. That could be it. In Maynak's language. What is Maynak's language? Kirsty, you know so much shit. Azor Ahai is any asshole who calls murder sacrifice. Yeah. Putting your sword through your love's heart and like being like, oh my God, look, it came out flaming. Yeah. Azor Ahai might have been flaming, killing his favorite woman. First person found with golden blood was an Australian Aboriginal woman. Do you know her, Grant?
Yes.
Oh, okay. 11 Alpha throwing some, like, look at my game. I've been to Charlemagne's grave. Charlemagne is Charles the Great or Karl der Grobe.
That's Grosser.
Oh, thank you. Gesundheit.
Yeah, that's what the umlaut is.
What up, Andy? And half maesters stopping at the 6th link. Are we talking
Don't know
about
what that means.
Well, the half maester with Aegon? And let's not forget, it's funny, you look at Master Lewin, who came to Winterfell with the Tullys, so he's a Tully man. Probably had something to do with Ned getting murdered, but he always brushes aside anything magical, anything that is not based in knowledge or science, but yet he has a Valyrian steel chain or link. So he did the mysteries. Did he learn something and he's scared of it and he doesn't want anybody getting involved in that? You know what I mean? Like, I always wondered about
It's
that.
hard to know, really. Like, there's not enough text or info on it. It's all up for us to infer.
What is the 7th link that makes half maesters leave? It's going to have something to do with females. Like you have to be nice to them or something. Thought the War of the Roses is the main inspiration. It is one of the big inspirations. War of the Roses, that's the Stark and the Lannisters. But you have a lot of different things that are involved.
Yeah, I've always said that there's all kinds of things involved.
Yeah,
Roses
so good.
and Lannisters.
Stuffs and things, yeah.
What's up, Brian? We're gonna wrap it up because Mad needs to get going to.
Man, I'm so far behind already.
Well, let them know where to find you, Mad.
You can find me on my new channel, Mad's new channel. We're gonna be talking about James Two Guns Davis and the early years of the LAPD for no reason. There's nothing going on in the news that makes it this an important story. But it starts at 9:15 Central, so that's in math. 9:15 minus 8:52 p.m. your time. There you go.
Wow, that was pretty good. So you're saying this is the most important story ever told?
No, that would be Jesus.
Okay, I was hoping you'd say that.
But any story that we tell on Matapap is definitely running for number 2. It's shocking. We always have a new number 2 story after the Jesus
The
each
Jesus.
week.
Pretty interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah, guys, check out. I put it in the chat. Lost and Leaked X page. Please follow me there. April's still on this half maester. The in text half maesters all leave 6 links. They won't do the 7th. But how many half maesters are there? Like, I only know of the one that's with Aegon.
Yeah, that's the only one I've ever known.
Yeah, and 7th is death in their religion. Kind of interesting. The stranger. Maybe they have to, I don't know. That's where they do like their skull and crossbones type fraternity, like hazing. It gets really weird, you
like
know?
with George W.
Yeah, George W.
George
you know.
W.
You know he's seen things. Also, guys, I'm going to put a link to my daughter's junior ranger page. If you have Facebook, you can vote for free. She's currently in 2nd place. I believe she has to be in 1st to move on. So if you guys can please, if you have Facebook, it's a free vote. If you want to donate, that'd be great too. But there's 2 days left in this round. So please, if you can, throw the kid a vote. She'll get to be in Ranger Rick magazine. She takes home 20 grand and she meets Jeff Corwin. So pretty interesting. All right. Mr. Grant Gregory, will I be joining you guys this Saturday morning?
I don't know. Will you?
Yeah. My wife and daughters are going camping, so it's just me and the boy. So yeah, I can join you guys.
Awesome. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
look, Full Aussie this weekend. It's at 9:35 Australian Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing some racial profiling, watching some
I'm going to do
retards
better
and
this time.
cards.
I'm going to do better
And
this time.
I've actually got a few Indians versus trains. The ending may shock you. It
Oh.
doesn't. Trains win.
It doesn't. Train wins. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody in the chat. I want to give a shout out to Jane Theory and Brian McCann for, Brian for being a member, Jane for donating a membership. Thank you very much. Last one I'm going to read is Kirsty Angel saying Nymeria is first Nisa 100%. Whoa. 6 kings she sent to the wall in golden fetters. Power in king's blood for a magical ritual. She's tied to the wall, more so than most people. And why? She's from Essos. We all came from Essos. Well, they all came from Essos. Keep that thought.
She's definitely a Nisa.
Yeah, and chat, make sure you think about the Grand Maester conspiracy for next week. Give me some good info. Ask some great questions. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel.
What's the theory?
So the Maesters are
they're behind everything.
They're behind everything.
Yeah,
so
they evil as shit.
Most lords can't read. So they're controlling all the information they hear and send out. They control pretty much the internet, which is the crows. They probably had a big to do with the downfall of the dragons and the Targaryens. So there's a lot going on there. And they're probably working closely with the faith and with the high towers of Old Town. But I got to end this if I want this thing to make me some shorts. So where can you find the best content about Song of Ice and Fire? Let them hear it, Matt.
Where's the best place for content on the world of Ice and Fire?
Right over there. See where I am pointing with my dagger? I just found
Sporking News Podcast with me, Sporking.